ਸਤਨਾਮ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀਓ। ਟੋਡੀ ਮਹੱਲਾ ਪੰਜਵਾਂ। ਗਰਭ ਗਹਿਲੜੋ ਮੂੜੜੋ ਹਿਓ ਰੇ, ਹਿਓ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਰੀਮਾਇਓ, ਡੀਹਰ ਨਿਆਈ ਮੋਹੇ ਫਾਕਿਓ ਰੇ ਰਹਾਓ। ਘਣੋ 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 ਸਦ ਲੋੜੈ, ਬਿਨ ਲਹਿਣੇ ਕਾਠੇ ਪਾਇਓ ਰੇ। ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਰੋ ਗਾਥ ਵਾਹੂ ਸਿਓ ਲੁਬੜਿਓ, ਨਿਹਾਬਾ ਗੜੋ ਭਾਏ ਸੰਜੋਇਓ ਰੇ। ਸੁਣ ਮਨ ਸੀਖ ਸਾਧੂ ਜਨ ਸਗਲੋ, ਥਾਰੇ ਸਗਲੇ ਪ੍ਰਾਚਿਤ ਮਿਟਿਓ ਰੇ। ਜਾਕੋ ਲਹਿਣੋ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਰੀ ਗਾਠੜਿਓ, ਜਨ ਨਾਨਕ ਗਰਭਾਸ ਨਾ ਪੌੜਿਓ ਰੇ। ਸੁਣ ਮਨ ਸੀਖ ਸਾਧੂ ਜਨ ਸਗਲੋ, ਥਾਰੇ ਸਗਲੇ ਪ੍ਰਾਚਿਤ ਮਿਟਿਓ ਰੇ। ਜਾਕੋ ਲਹਿਣੋ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਰੀ ਗਾਠੜਿਓ, ਜਿਨ ਨਾਨਕ ਗਰਭਾਸ ਨਾ ਪੌੜਿਓ ਰੇ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀਓ, today's ਪਾਵਨ ਪਵਿੱਤਰ ਹੁਕਮਨਾਮਾ ਸਾਹਿਬ is by ਧੰਨ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਅਰਜਨ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਗਰੀਬ ਨਿਵਾਜ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀ in Todi Rag Guru Arjan Dev Ji Pach Ji. They start this Sri Hukamnama Sahib, which is from Sri Darbar Sahib, Sachkhand Sri Harmandir Sahib. Garb gehe lado moodado hiore. So what is Guru Arjan Dev Ji Pach Ji saying here? Garb, Sangat Ji, translates to pride. Pride, or we could use the word arrogance as well. And let's understand what pride is first. Pride is when we want to be on top. We want to be above others. Pride is when we are looking down at somebody else. Pride is when we're in our mind, we're in that competition and we don't want anyone to get ahead of us. So Sangat Ji, pride is when I think I'm better than others. That's what arrogance is. That's what garb is. And that's one of the Panj Chor as well. Paatshah ji call it ikOankaar. So garb gehe lado. Paatshah ji saying here that what's happened here is that gehe lado can be translated to something that grips us, that takes hold of us. It's been translated in different ways, but I'm just gonna use one translation. So Paatshah saying garb gehe lado, that this garb, this pride has got hold of me, it's gripped me. And then Paatshah saying, what has it gripped, this pride? What has it got hold of? That moodado hiore. It's saying that it's got hold of this foolish heart of mine. Hio translates to heart. And so what's happened normally, we tend to use the word heart for when we're talking about something positive, but Maharaj has used the word heart here. So there wouldn't be any harm here for us to actually translate this to our mind. So this foolish mind has been gripped with pride. Sadhguru Ji Paatshah Ji saying. And then Guru Arjan Dev Ji Paatshah Ji go on to say that Hio Maharaj Ri Mayo. Hio again, here's the word heart again. Maharaj is the word for king. Maharaj meaning the king of all kings, talking about Vaheguru Ji. Saying that Hio Maharaj Ri Mayo. That what's happened, that this mind has been taken over by what? Mayo, by this illusionary world. And then Guru Arjan Dev Ji Paatshah say, kende dihar niyai mohe phakyo re. Dihar Sangat Ji, again it's translated in two different ways by the scholars, but we're going to look at it only in one way so that there's no confusion, because the whole point of Katha is that it dispels our dubda, takes away our doubts. So dihar Sangat Ji is, it could be translated to a fish, saying dihar niyai, just niyai means just like a fish, mohe fakyore. Fakyore can be translated, fakyo can be translated to caught. So it means just like a fish gets caught up. And what does it mean? It's just like when somebody's fishing, and then the hook on the actual rod, and then on that hook they have some sort of food on it that attracts the fish, which normally is some form of little worm or something like that, and it attracts the fish. So what happens is the fish is attracted by that piece of food, and what happens is when it comes to grab that food, it gets caught up, it gets caught fakyo on that, and it's on that hook, and then that fisherman, it actually takes that fish up. But what happened, and this is exactly what is happening to us, Sangat Ji, we get caught up as well. We see something and we go crazy about wanting that. So we get caught up in our desires for this illusionary world, wanting more and more. So Sadhguru Ji Pacha Ji, they say to us in the next Pangati, they say, Kano, 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 Sad Lode. Sad Lode means is constantly, is every moment. Lode is meaning wanting. So talking about desire here, Kano, 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 Kano translates to more and more and more, meaning 3 times here. So here it's in our mind, I want this, and then we even Kano again, and then it's man, and then it's bach, then we even talk about that thing, and then Kano, and then more, meaning then we're doing everything physically possible as well to obtain that thing as well. Sangat Ji, I've said before in one of the kathas that during this period, during this time, this is maybe a personal reflection, that some of these burning desires inside of us, that wanting more and more, when we're getting caught up in seeing that little thing, and then and we're going full steam ahead, and then we get caught by it, and then what's happening is this is all driven by pride as well, that we're wanting to be on top, we're wanting to look down on others. So Sangaji, but during this period, with what is going on with this outbreak of this virus, I would, from my own personal reflection, would say that some of the things that we were wanting now have reduced, that Trishna has reduced, because now all we're thinking about is how can we survive, how can we get through this period, what can I do to try my best not to get this virus. So the drive has become different. So I'll give you a personal example. Like just a few weeks ago, what was within my mind and my wife's mind, we was thinking about an extension, thinking about how we can knock the kitchen through and make it all bigger, but there's not been no conversation of that in the last few weeks. All of that starts to diminish, it starts to reduce, because what we start to think about is our necessities. We start to think about more of what we need to survive. Just like Bachaji talk about the Char Padarat, the first Padartha is Kamana. Kamana is the drive for the essentials that we need to survive and live. The second one is Arth. Arth meaning the essentials that we need. So now, what are people going crazy about is their concern and worry is, are we going to have enough food to get through during this period? So now our drive becomes more about our essentials that we need to live and survive. And how is that done? Because now death is at the forefront. Now we're thinking about those things that are more important to us. So now we're actually thinking about how can I build these relationships back up, and making sure that I strengthen these relationships within our household, with at home. How can I make my relationship even more better now during this period whilst we're at home with my partner, with my children? And as we build these, we start to focus on those things more so now that are actually important. So often what we do is we get stuck in pride, and we might sometimes want to just get the next better car or do that extension just because now the next door neighbors have done it. Their garden's looking amazing. I need to make sure that my garden's even better than theirs. Because why? Because what happens to us is Garba gets a grip of us, this pride of wanting to always be at the top. that the things, the way I've got my, look at the way I've designed my living area, and we're thinking, look, we don't want it to be the same as theirs. We don't want it to be, we don't want to have the same feature wall as my relative, as my sister, because we've got to be better. We've got to stand out. We've got to be different. It gets a grip on us. Murado here. Part is laughing at us. This is, you foolish mind has been caught up with such irrelevant things that do not matter. But in this period, we're focusing more on those things that do actually matter to us, Sangat Jiyo. So think about this now, wanting more and more. But even this, during this period, how can this become relatable to us? Even this period, we can get caught up in wanting to be at the top. Is this constant want, this mind is saying, you know what, I want to get the best information out there online, on Facebook, on Instagram now, that I want people to recognize me. I want the most likes, that I've given the most information out about what's happening, about the outbreak at the moment. How many deaths is there now? I want to be the first to tell everyone. If there's anything new that's come about, that now the UK Prime Minister even, he's been actually tested positive yesterday, but I want to be the first one to tell everyone. So that mind, that desire, that garb, that wanting to be at the top, that still can creep in. We've got to be very careful at this time, during this period, that we remain in that humility, in actually wanting to serve humanity. And Sangatji, there's been an overwhelming response from the people. We can see how that compassion has welled up inside of the people of this world, the humanity. Sangatji, when this summer of dukh and suffering comes, then that Waheguruji's natural laws tap into this compassion of ours that is inside, and this emotion of compassion wells up, Sangatji. And we've seen that the government, they requested that we need 250,000 people to sign up. To sign up for what? To sign up to help, to become volunteers, to help the NHS during this challenging period. During this challenging period. And what we've seen is we've had a sign up of 600,000 people, Sangatji. It just shows that we might get caught up in life with this pride, and with this getting caught up like that fish, and wanting more and more, and then next thing we know, this illusionary world has taken over our mind. But during this time, it shows, Sangatji, that we all have got these beautiful qualities sitting inside of us. And when there was a need, there's 600,000 people not fearing for their own lives, being absolutely fearless. Because the truth is, Sangatji, I was saying to my wife that even though I've had a bit of a cold and have to wait till I get better, but wanting to sign up as well to help out in whatever possible way with the NHS. But the truth is, Sangatji, it takes a lot of courage. Because yesterday, I went into Asda, and seeing how life has changed just within these few weeks. There was a queue where the doors, where they were only allowing 5 to 6 people in at a time. There was more people inside, but at a time they were letting in groups of about 5 to 6 people. Everybody was lined up all around the car park with about 2 meters distance between each other. But Sangatji, and then you start to feel this sense of fear well up inside, because of this attachment to this body that is impermanent, and going into that fear for that moment that, you know what, I might catch this virus. Because I could see that people have come out taking precautions as they should, wearing plastic gloves, not great for the environment, but people doing whatever they can do for this moment to survive, wearing masks. And Sangatji, and I've rocked up there without any gloves, without any mask or anything. For that moment, you do think, well, there's me trying to be a soldier to sign up for the NHS, to be a volunteer, and then you turn up here because of the way the whole energy is so different within the air. And even though the weather's been beautiful, where people would normally be so joyful and getting and planning with families to go out and do something. Now you've got this, you could feel this, there was this sense of silence, and you could see that this sense of worry and fear inside, just like Pachaji saying here, that this Maya, Hiyo Maharajiri Mayo, this Maya, this illusion takes over us, this panic that wanting to keep this body forever and this constant worry. So Sangatji, we've got to be careful in being more conscious in which way are these things potentially taking over us. So Satguruji Pachaji is saying that kano sad lode, that constantly there's this lode of one. So now during this period as well, just being conscious and not being so inconsiderate to others of bulk buying. I think now this is being put into place where more and more supermarkets are now got things in place where they're not allowing people to bulk buy anymore. So Sangaji, just being careful, what is going on in my mind? What is it that I'm desiring? How much do I actually need that? If I'm now thinking that if death was to come within the next few weeks, next month, of how would I actually live? How would I treat other people? Now this desire should become that one desire to become one with Vaheguruji and to embrace all the qualities and those people that I'm living around and living with, is now speaking sweetly to our partners, being, sweet to our children as well. Often we look down at our children thinking we are above and greater than them, we're here to teach them, but no, treating them like we would, like somebody. I always think about this. Often in my mind I'm thinking like, we're trying to find this Mr. God, but then we've got the opportunity to treat our own family like the form of God. And yes, it's the most difficult and challenging thing, because they are the ones that challenge us the most, because we're more comfortable with them, so they challenge us the most. But Sangaji, if today we don't know if God was to come and take form and say to us that I am God, today we would probably think that, you know what, no, that I don't actually like your ways. I don't actually like the way you're acting and the way you deal with things. Because we're trying to look for that perfection and we're trying to say that I'll be perfect, I'll show you my compassion if I can see that you have no anger in you and you're perfect first. That's not how it works, Sangataji. Life is about challenges, that when we're seeing those things, that when they may be frustrated and angry, but then how do we remain still keeping our joy inside intact and not letting that transfer into us, and still thinking that, you know what, I'm gonna still serve you as the form of God. And this is our opportunity now. If we can do that with our families, then I'm sure we can start doing that when we go out. Because it's those same people within our families that we say that we love, that we end up, those same partners that end up in divorces and hating each other the most, that same person that we said we loved. Today is that opportunity. I'm saying this to me. I'm not here trying to look down at someone and saying, come on, you guys are flops and you need to do this. No. I'm saying this as something that I want to embrace as a challenge, and to be able to have that desire to experience that one within my family members. Now, in this opportunity of being locked off, so many people are saying now is the time to do bhagati, now is the time to jap naam. But the truth is that, let's look at what Pachaji is saying about that, about now that we feel that this is, now that we're saying this is the perfect opportunity, this is the perfect opportunity, but is it easy? Because we've always said that if we had this opportunity, this is the opportunity when we would do more bhagati, when we would do actually devote ourselves in meditating on Vaheguruji's name. more so. We've always waited for this opportunity. But having this opportunity, is it easy to actually just embrace as we've been thinking it is? So let's see what Bhai is saying. Kano 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 sad loda bin lehne kathe payore. Bhai is saying, but with bin, without that lehne, without that great fortune, kathe, how do we expect now to obtain this anything from Waheguru without great fortune? This is amazing, Sangat Ji, because we haven't built up that adat, that habit, or of waking early in the morning, of actually sitting still for hours and meditating on Waheguru. Now is not gonna be easy, even though the opportunity is perfect. If we haven't built it into our system, that's why Bhai is saying that bar prabh japiye. It's about forming that way of bar, of again and again, again and again. That's what Bhai is saying, that karana, that we have to keep doing it again and again. Karana. That's why, so even during this period, no, it's not going to be easy. Because what's going to be easy during this period is what we've been used to doing, which is just going on our social media, watching a video, following the news and talking rubbish with each other at home. Because that's what's easy, that's what's built into us, that's what we've been doing. That's what we've been again and again repeating and practicing. What have we been practicing again and again is going to be what we're going to end up doing more of now, during this time, during this opportunity that we've been given. So Sangat Ji, so we have to, it's like having to start from the beginning. If we haven't built that into our system now, we have to do it little by little, little by little, little by little during this period of being locked down. So now we have to build it into our system. No, it's not going to be easy. Akhan Auka Sacha No. To connect to the true name, that is the most difficult work that anybody can ever take on in their life. Because that has to be built up. Baran bar prabh japiye, pi amrit eho man tan trapiye. Trapiye, for this mind to become satisfied by eho man tan trapiye. That be amrit, to drink this amrit. Sangat Ji, first we have to do it again and again and again. So pyareo, Bhai Ji over here is saying, Maharaj rogat vahu syo lubdeo nehbagado pahe sanjoyo re. Bhai Ji saying, Maharaj rogat vahu syo lubdeo. Bhai Ji saying that, why are you so lubdeo? Lubdeo means lubahe man. Why are you so attached to this maya? Bhai Ji saying that we're so unfortunate. So now, even during this time, if we're not able to connect and sit and do Simran, we are unfortunate because we haven't built up that into our karam. So then Bhai Ji saying, Pahe sanjoyo re. They're saying what's happening is that Pahe, in that fire, we're still burning in that fire of desire. Even during this period, we're just worried about where are we going to bring food from? Oh my God, I can't believe I can't go and visit such and such. Oh my God, I can't believe I can't go to such and such place. There's still those desires are still burning inside of us and not living in acceptance. And we're still thinking, I can't believe, not looking at what we have got. Not thinking that ramieeaa ke gun chet prani kavan mool kavan dristani. That not looking at that what Waheguru has blessed us with. That das bastu le pache pave ek bast karne bakhot gawave ek pina de. Paching ek pina de to muha kaho kare. Pachi saying that even now in this period, in this time, that you're still looking at what you haven't got, not looking at what you have got. Is not looking at all the gifts that you have been blessed with during this time. So Bhai Ji saying that Maharaj rogat vahu syo lubdeo. They're saying, why are you so just attached to this illusion. Bahaguro, you unfortunate person. Pahe, you're still burning in that fire. Sanjoyo re, they're saying, Sonam manasik sadhu jana sagalo, they're saying, now is the time to take on all the Sikh, the Sikhiya, the Upadesh, the teachings from all the sadhus, those saints that are detached, that are untouched by all of these things, these desires. Sonam manasik sadhu manasagalo thare sagale parachit mitiore. Now is the opportunity to take away that sagale parachit, all our sins, mitior, to erase all the sins that we have committed in the past. Now is our opportunity to erase all of them. So Pach is saying that Jako Lehno Maharaj Ri Gathadiyo, Pach saying Jako Lehno Maharaj Ri Gathadiyo. They're saying that now is that time to take from Patji's Palla, from Patji's Khajana, from their actual treasure, is now our opportunity to receive from Waheguruji that treasure of Bhakti. Jana Nanak Garbhas na payo paudeo re. Patching now is our opportunity to escape from that womb, from that cycle of birth and death. Now it's time to take from Waheguruji's Palla, to receive the blessings of Naam from Akal Purkh Waheguruji. So Sangat Jiyo, let's do Ardas to Satiguruji Sache Paatshah Ji, that I am able to embrace the path of devotion during this period. I am able to actually devote myself even to the members of family that are sitting at home, and in devotion, where if I can just take one thing, is think today I'm not going to speak any bitter words, I'm not going to be rude, and I'm going to be sweet to all of my family members that I am around now. I'm going to speak to them as if I'm speaking to Waheguruji, God themselves. And don't get confused to think that, yes, it's safe, we've got to discipline our children. But remember, having a relationship with that one means that I'm not going to look down at you. I'm not going to be treating you like you are below me. I'm not going to get caught up in garba, in wanting to be above you. I'm here to serve you in whichever manner that is. And yes, we may still need to discipline our children in this period. Don't get it all confused in your mind. We still discipline them without looking down at them. And that is, we can still be serving God through them during this period. That's my ardas, that's my benti to Satgurji, to give me strength to be able to do that. Angad Waheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji ki Fateh. Aakhan aukha sacha naam, Aakhan aukha sacha naam, Waheguru 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 Waheguru. साचे नाम की लागे भूख, साचे नाम की लागे भूख, उत भूखे खाए चलिए दुख, उत भूखे खाए चलिए दुख. वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह.